Well, hello there. I am the disembodied head of Dr. Joseph Mengele, and welcome back to Tyrrell Time. I hope you're all enjoying quarantine. This episode, obviously, coming to you live from quarantine. Um, just a quick announcement before we get started. It is my intention to help us all get through this very weird time. I hope you're all keeping healthy and well. I will be trying to put out just a little bit more content. We've been on about roughly a video a day for about 2 weeks. There was a short gap this weekend while I was going out to buy food. Um, I'm thinking of having, for the next 2 to 4 weeks, a third play along of something. If you've got any suggestions of what you'd like to see, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments section down below, and we'll see what we can make happen. But the idea is I'll try and put out just a little bit more content, not a lot. Obviously, I'm already grateful for the amount of time you spend with me, but I'm presuming most of us will have a bit more time on our hands during the coming weeks, particularly those of us in Europe. So, yeah, I will do my best to help you get through it. We're about to begin the 2004 season, and we had a really crappy end to 2003. I mean, seriously crappy. The C evolution of the car did not work. Even though the score within the game says it was a better car, it just didn't work. And every result we had afterwards was basically garbage. That means we have to kick things off strongly this year. Now we have a problem in that most of our contracts are up again, with only Mugen Honda and Shell and Brastemp sticking around. That means we need, first of all, in terms of team sponsors, I'm going to try talking to Playlife, Blondes, and who goes best with our? Let's talk to East. They go best with our livery, I think. Engine we have tires. Again, we are stuck with Bridgestone. We're the only Bridgestone runner once again, but we will be talking to them, and we need the cash monies. We need the cash monies pretty bad. So I'm going to put 20% on PlayStation and 20% on Patronus. Let's keep all this Asian theme going, shall we? And you know what else? Why don't we talk to PIAA at the same time? Why don't we go all in, eh? Going to reduce the spend on hospitalitage. Bridgestone, we definitely need to invite. PlayStation and Patronus. Okay, so the sponsor side of things, that's all done and dusted. We have space for a supercomputer and we're going to use it. We have a few spare parts. We have all the cars that we need to make use of our new testing rig. That's a big deal. In terms of control, our engine contract, not good. Again, not good. We can help, but we don't have priority, so we'll be waiting an extra round or two before we get the evolutions. Our tyres look better thanks to our efforts last year, but our rain tyres are awful, and our fuel is not good either. That means we have a lot of development work to do. I mean, a lot. With that in mind, we're going to kick things off with just the most humongous of tests. I'm going to put a lot of mechanics on this, a lot of mileage. Dario Loretti joins the team. That's sort of the big deal right now. Engine testing takes kind of a backseat. No development testing right now. We're just worried about the research part. We want to get an evolution of this car out as soon as possible. Let's run that test immediately and see what we get. Super. have to run another test. Okay, I'm going to leave the engine points as they are for now. First things out of the box, let's work on the hard compound first. Let's try that. And I'm going to go back to doing split strategies, because I think part of what let us down was also not taking advantage of the softs. I think it's good to break Loretti in gently, for want of a better term. So we'll have him running shorter stints on the soft compound tyre. Nakano will stay on the hard because we know that's how we tend to get the best out of him. That should hedge our bets, at least in the early part of the season. What are we doing in terms of development? So the technology on the car doesn't actually look very bad at all. I'm quite pleased with that. Let's leave 25 on here. Let's already start on next year's car. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, where's the pre-season preamble ramble? We're getting to that. But I wanted to dive in to our team in more detail first to try and see if that helps put into context what we're up against this year. Now, I'm actually feeling fairly confident despite the power unit issue. I think the power unit is the consistent weakness. Loretti obviously is the unknown quantity, but I don't think really he's going to prove to be much more of a detriment than we've had before. Some contracts are up this year, namely Shinji Nakano's. Now we can replace him, but we're not gonna. Toru Takagi's contract is also up, but we want the Nakano. That's what we want. 2-season deal for him. No, he wants longer. Fine. Can we actually... We may try and bring Takagi back as well. Okay, we are losing Fritz Kaiser at the end of this year. That means we need to take a look at other options. There is no one Asian sounding in terms of commercial managers. We have a 3-star guy at the moment on 5% commission. I think Ian Phillips is the way to go, even though he costs considerably more. I think he'll only take a 1-season deal, won't he? Okay, he wants a little more than that. About you. Okay, you're not interested either. Stefano Domenicali is already on too much for my liking. We could go for Charles Aston, but that's a step backwards. I'm not really happy with that as a solution. Yeah, and he wants more too. Okay, we'll come back to that. Osamu Goto, you are the boy we want, and I am prepared to pay to keep you. Okay, he just needs a little bit more encouragement. Gustav Brunner has another year to run. Robert Dassault, he's out of contract. But I think he's the best option for us by quite some way. It'll be a huge pay increase. Okay, we'll try again at the next Grand Prix. Commercial staff, very important. We will hire those. We also need some designers. Excellent. And we will grab ourselves some more mechanics while the opportunity presents itself. Our wage bill is getting humongous now, but you know, whatever. Okay, so we are ready pretty much to begin the season, but what does that mean? Let's take a look, shall we? Who we're up against and what they're running. In terms of who is where this season, there's not been that many changes. I'm just going through now, seeing if there's anything we can learn here. There is not. Okay, so who is driving where? Back to the top. So, Arrows fielding a very strong lineup actually. David Coulthard and Olivier Panis, joint number one drivers, with Fisichella as a test driver. That is a hell of a lineup. Arrows have been in an upward trajectory basically since this playthrough began. They had a drop back a season or two ago, but I think they'll be on it again this year, to be honest. Coulthard also, most pole positions of any driver on the grid now. He'll be one to watch. Benetton have been in the wilderness for quite a while. Ralph Schumacher and Esteban Tuero with Montoya as test driver. Both Schumacher and Tuero are out of contract at the end of this season. Neither of them have really been big hitters. I think they're probably in line for changing their drivers. I wouldn't expect them to keep either of them on, to be honest. Down at Ferrari, Frentzen and Newhouse have been a very strong lineup with Badoa as test. The interesting thing there, of course, is that while the drivers have been good, the car has not, and I don't know if that's enough to keep hold of those drivers. Down at Jordan, Pedro Diniz, now a race winner, and Toru Takagi, also a race winner, joint number ones. They're at the end of their, I believe, 3 seasons together. This will be the third and final. Jan Magnussen is their test driver. That's actually also a very strong lineup, and Jordan have had a bit of a blip last year, but much like Arrows, they've been kind of on the up and up. Over at McLaren, Damon Hill stays on. He's got another 2 seasons to run on his contract as number one at McLaren. Replacing David Coulthard is John Fellows. Mika Salo tests for them. Down at Minardi, it's Alberto Marini and Riccardo Rosset. Both those guys joint number ones, but also they've both been having an excellent 2 seasons prior to this. The Minardi car has been good enough for podium positions, or at least healthy points hauls every now and then. Maybe they take a step forward this year. It kind of depends on the powertrain that they're running and how things develop over the course of the season, but those drivers have both been performing way beyond their pay grade. Meanwhile, down at Prost, Stefan Sarrazin and Jarno Trulli. Trulli in his last year of his Prost contract. That's a team that's been well and truly in the wilderness and don't look set for a revival. Trulli, I expect, ready to move on. Jürgen Muller stays on as test driver until 2008. Meanwhile, at Sauber, Rubens Barrichello and Emmanuel Collard continue with Herbert as test driver. One of these things is not like the others. That could have been a very, very strong lineup, but they decided to put Herbert as a test driver for reasons unknown. Maybe it's because he's fat and southern. Who could guess? Stewart, Eddie Irvine and Laurent Redon continue as equal number ones with Celso Moreira as their test driver. Yeah, quite a strong lineup. Stewart picking up points here and there, but still not really a regular threat to the top. Down at Tyrrell, we have Dario Loretti joining the team on a 2-season deal alongside Shinji Nakano. Carl Eisen remains as our test driver for another year. And at Williams, Mika Hakkinen and Alexander Wurz, backed up by Andrea Montemini. That is a very, very strong lineup, and it's in place for another 2 seasons. Hakkinen, the number 1, to Wurz's number 2. A very, very strong lineup, particularly in wet weather conditions. The Williams looked good last season. They'll be wanting to take a step forward. Hiroshi Tanaka out of the sport after we dropped him, and Michael Schumacher and John Lacey both have retired. Let's take a look then, shall we, at who's running where. These are your cash sponsors for this year. That's not what we're actually interested in. Click on the right screen. So, Arrows, backed by East. Now, that's their first really big money title sponsor. Benetton picking up Murano as well. The notable exception here in terms of team sponsors is Williams, which tells me they could be in trouble with cash for development probably running out. What we care most about, though, is where everyone is in terms of powertrain, and it's alarming news. Mercedes-Benz continue to be the best engine provider in terms of resources. and they have a works deal with McLaren and their fairly strong driver lineup, Jordan and their strong driver lineup, and Arrows is a partner, also a strong driver lineup. No one is running Ferrari power, which means their engines are going to be dog crap next year. Williams have taken a works contract with Ford, Benetton on a partnership alongside Ferrari. Meanwhile, down at Peugeot, Sauber on a one-season works deal with a one-season partner deal for Prost. At Mugen Honda, we are tied into a two-season bullshit deal with Mugen Honda. We just can't seem to make them happy. Stewart are on a one-season partner deal. And down at Mechachrome, who only sell engines, they don't offer partnerships. Minardi are on a two-season customer deal. In terms of who's produced a good engine, it's pretty clear to say the Ford is actually the best power unit, and the Mugen Honda is falling further and further behind the works suppliers. The Ford, the Ferrari, the Mercedes-Benz, and the Peugeot all vastly superior to the Mugen Honda. Even the Mechachrome looks like a better unit overall, to be honest. That's bad because we can't develop out of that hole. In terms of tyres, Bridgestone lagging behind. We are the only Bridgestone user again. So not much to talk about really, except who got the works deals over at Goodyear, and that was Ferrari and McLaren. So well done indeed. In terms of your race fuels, we are sharing the works contracts with Shell with McLaren. They have one season, we have two. Mobil 1 have no works partner this year. Prost on a two-season partner deal with them though. Sauber and Minardi are taking Texaco, Minardi as a partner. Down at Agip, it's a partner deal for one season for Benetton and a customer deal for one season for Jordan. Total have a two-season partnership deal with Williams and a one-season partnership deal with Stewart. Elf remain with Ferrari for another year and with Arrows. Those are both at the end of two-season deals now. Ferrari as a partner, Arrows as a customer. One of those, I guess, will be looking to take a step up to that Mobil 1 deal if they are able. Well, as we're all in quarantine, should we start the season the same episode as the pre-season preamble ramble? I think we probably should. The cars are repaired, now we just have to go and see what we can achieve. I'm going to leave the drivers pushing at the level that they do. In terms of setup, again, we're not favouring any one driver. Driver aids on. Hard compound tyres for Nakano, soft compound for Dario Loretti. Let's take that. Everything else is set up, so let's dive into the Australian Grand Prix, because if we can't have a real one, let's at least have a pretend one, shall we? We don't want to watch qualifying in the race this time, we're going back to the old format because my computer hates it. 24 degrees and dry for qualifying. Now, we never have a car that's particularly strong in qualifying. I'm just hoping that we make it into the top 10. Let's see. We do, down at the bottom end. Now, as predicted, Williams looking very, very strong. Mika Hakkinen taking pole position, the first pole position of the season, on a 1:30.268 with his teammate Alexander Wurz just behind him on a 1:33.10. The second row is an all-McLaren affair, Damon Hill out-qualifying John Fellows, but it's closer than any of us would have thought. Toru Takagi leads teammate Pedro Diniz in a third row for Jordan. It's Ferrari leading in Arrows, Johnny Newhouse and David Coulthard on row 4. On row 5, Heinz-Harald Frentzen P9, Dario Loretti P10 out-qualifying his teammate for the very first race of the season. Who's dropped down to the bottom though? Minardi, bottom of the stack, despite some very strong performances last few seasons. Sauber and Benetton also failing to perform. Prost, though, seemed to be recovering. Trulli outqualifies Sarrazin, not really a surprise, but fairly close. We are well and truly in the midfield. We're a long way off pole position time. The power unit obviously going to be the decisive factor in that. Right. We'll do a 29-29 split with Shinji Nakano, of course. He's probably going to be our best chance of putting some points on the board. And we will two-stop with a lighter Dario Loretti. Not good. We don't even finish on the same lap as the leaders. Mick Hakkinen leads from pole position to finish first on a 1:32.234.11, miles down the road from Johnny Newhouse's Ferrari. Olivier Panis puts it third for Arrows, and the final points paying positions are picked up by the Arrows of David Coulthard, the Prost of Yana Trulli, and the Jordan of Pedro Diniz. Dario Loretti brings it home, P9, which is, I believe, one place up from where he started, but engine failure takes out both McLarens, actually, and Shinji Nakano. Lame. Williams are your points leaders. Let's see who's interested in giving us a deal. East, 31 million, 29, 20. Oh, we got a 2-season deal from Blondes, though. I'm going to go after Blondes. I'm going to keep Blondes. I think that's the right thing to do. And we'll play the success card there. We have a 2-season tyre deal. I'm going to play the TV Advantage card there. And in terms of cash, 2-season deal from Petronas, 1-season deal from PIAA, and 1-season deal from PlayStation, all up for grabs. We will... Who's got the 2-season deal? Was it Petronas? It was. Okay, so we will ditch PlayStation and we'll bring Blondes. Oh, Blondes are talking to someone else. Lame. Fine. We will bring PIAA along to the next Grand Prix. We lost a little money, but that's to be expected on the flyaway races. Okay, let's hope no one's signed off our drivers. Oh, not as a test driver. Here. Shinji Nakano re-signed with the team now till 2007. That's good news. Osamu Goto, we need you. Signed. Done. Alright, we can sign Ian Phillips, 1.8 million, but let's see if we can... I'll wait one more round for that. And Mr. Dassault. We don't have a strong financial packet, but we will do. Okay, so not very auspicious start to our season. I'm sure none of us are particularly happy with that. I'm going to improve performance on the brakes, I think. In terms of driver aids, not really a lot of improvement to write home about. Progress was the word I was thinking of. Okay. What to do? How much is testing here? Very, very cheap. So we will run the full test package again. Done. That's a new power unit. We'll bang out some new full wets, I think. Oh, no, actually softs first. And a new fuel compound. It shouldn't take many fuel tests actually to get that nailed in. But still, I don't think any of that is going to be enough. I think we're in for another middling season where maybe we come good towards the end, but it's too little too late. I'm really, if I'm honest, disappointed with the power units coming out of Honda. However, that is the rules of the playthrough, and that's what we're sticking with. Okay. See, look, we've got an 80% handling car. I mean, that's a car that should be winning races. So I'm very disappointed about the way things are playing out so far. We've got some repairs to perform, and we just have to hope now that we can pick up some sponsors quick and work our way through all of this early season wobbles very quickly. Hopefully get an upgrade package out before or at Monaco. That would be doperific, as the Beastie Boys might say. Right. On we go. I'm going to still keep the drivers pushing. It's the start of the season. I want to see what the car's capable of. And again, I'm not favouring either of the drivers. Because I don't think it makes sense to. Let's try that. We have new fuels and a new hard compound tyre. So only one driver gets 2 upgrades. Okay, welcome to Brazil. Strong rain, that's bad news because our strong rain tyres are bollocks. However, Shinji Nakano's pretty handy in these conditions and qualifies P3. That's an interesting turnaround. Dario Loretti down in P16, but the big news to write home about, Jarno Trulli on pole position in the Prost of all things on a 1:29.801. Olivier Panis puts his arrows second. Shinji Nakano, a very strong P3, showing the excellent handling of this car. Now the power's not such a big deal. You can see just how well that car handles. Mika Hakkinen and Damon Hill also out-qualifying their teammates noticeably. It's dry and 28 degrees for the Grand Prix. If it wasn't too late to put Loretti on the hards, now would be the time to do it, but unfortunately it is. So we will have to continue to stopping him and hope that he's capable of overtaking on the track, which I don't think he is. Nakano will obviously one stop. Come on, boys, give me some points. They gave me points. What points did you give me? Oh, finally, Shinji Nakano takes the win. A 1:38.45242. A hell of a drive. That's him essentially, what, 30 to 40 seconds? Oh no, even more. Ahead of Mika Hakkinen. Damon Hill rounds out the podium. Meanwhile, Frentzen, Takagi and Coulthard mean no team gets 2 cars into the points, although we are the closest. Dario Loretti finishes a lap down on his teammate, but best of the rest, just outside the points. So not a bad season opening once we get things right. I think Loretti, that's a strong drive. 16th to 7th. It deserves points, arguably, but we'll take it. Nakano up to 2nd in the Drivers' Championship, and in the Constructors we are also in 2nd place. That's a recovery that we needed. Let's see what's going on in Sponsorland. Any progress at all? Oh, we're very nearly done with the Blondes deal, and we're also very nearly done with the Bridgestone deal. This is pleasing. No real progress on the cash deals yet, but we will get there. In terms of commercial staff, please sign with me, you fuck. Ian Phillips is just too expensive. 1.8 million. That's a. Do you know what? I'm just going to take it. It's only one season, and I just don't want to lose out. Gustav Brunner still under contract. It's Robert Dassault has signed with someone else. That absolute motherfucker. That leaves us with Carl Gaden as the only real alternative. And he's going to be an expensive boy to bring over. But we're going to do it for one season. Okay, maybe not. Okay. A lot of wear on the car. This car obviously can't take much punishment, but development is going fantastically. We're already onto the CFD simulation phase on the B-spec car. We have some new brakes to install, so we will do that. Guys, please stay healthy. Take care of yourselves. If you can work from home, please do work from home. If you can't, then I don't know, become immune. I wish you all the very, very best. I'll be keeping an eye on the comments, and I'll be a bit more interactive in the next weeks. If there's anything you'd like to see on the channel, don't hesitate to ask, and I will do my best to help you through the next weeks in quarantine. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.